KMSU.
Hey, Michael Sweet calling in here.
Michael Sweet, this is Dustin Wellness. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I am excellent. It's great to have you on the line today.
Good to be on the line.
I'll introduce you to my co-host, Ton.
Hey there, how you doing?
Okay. Hey, Ton, how are you?
I'm great, thanks, man. I'm glad we got you. If you're ready to go, we'll get started here.
I am. I'm ready.
Well, can you talk to us a bit about how you even first started playing music?
Well, I started out playing guitar. Believe it or not, my dad started teaching me chords when I was 5 years old. My dad's a singer-songwriter, so is my mom, and I grew up in a musical family, so I was always fascinated and interested in music. Started playing guitar when I was 5, and then really got serious about it when I was 12. That's when I bought an amp and a guitar and started experimenting with pedals and whatnot, and that was it. Pretty much from the age of 12 on, I was just forever indebted to music and on a road, searching and seeking my musical journey. So, I'm 13 now, so it's been a year.
Wow.
You've aged well. So, talk to us then how, I guess, that journey, that musical road led to Stryper.
Well, my dad convinced my brother to let his bratty brother join his band, and that's also when I was 12, almost 13. And the rest is, I guess, as they say, history. We started playing backyard parties and high schools and you name it, and eventually worked our way into clubs on Sunset, Santa Monica, Troubadour, Whiskey, Gazzarri's. I was playing clubs when I was 15. It's when I started playing my first time at the Whiskey, and we became a house band at Gazzarri's, and we were a band called Rocks at that time, and then we changed our name to Rocks Regime. And, that evolved into Stryper in 1983 when Oz and Tim and Rob and myself recommitted our lives to God and decided that we just didn't want that lifestyle anymore, the sex, drugs, and Hollywood life. And we became Stryper, and we've been waving that flag and tossing Bibles out ever since.
So then that Christian influence really just started after you guys did the club scene and got sick of it and just kind of switched gears?
Yeah, I grew up fast, like really fast. Everybody, when I was 13 years old, everybody thought I was 18 or 19. When I was 16, everyone thought I was 22, 23, 24 years old. So I never got carded, and I just grew up really fast, and I got a lot of that most of that out of my system, of just, the girls and the drugs and the alcohol and all that stuff that goes along typically with rock and roll, which shouldn't go along with rock and roll, but it does. And, I just decided at the age of 20 that I just didn't want to go down that path anymore, that I saw it lead to nowhere with my friends and acquaintances and guys in other bands and whatnot, and I didn't dig it. I just said, you know what, this is stupid. This is for idiots. And not that anyone that went down that path is an idiot, but you know what I'm saying. And
Sure.
I just felt like I wanted to get out quick, and I did, and I'm glad I did. There's no looking back and no regrets whatsoever.
So then what led to you guys, I guess, how long have you been wearing the black and yellow, and how did that come up?
A lot of people think that came up when Stryper formed or after Stryper formed, and it actually came up before Stryper formed. My brother, Robert, started, painting and taping drums and wearing black and yellow way back. This is back when we were at the Whiskey, and, he was painting his drums then. And when we became Stryper, when we became Rocks Regime, and Oz and Tim joined as Rocks Regime, and we got a record deal with Enigma, everyone kind of mutually agreed that Rocks Regime wasn't such a great name. Every time we said our name to someone, they'd say, huh? And it was hard to pronounce and hard to say. And, we just all started taking name bands and writing them down, and we compiled a list. And we chose Stryper. All the walls were yellow and black. Our guitars were yellow and black. Our clothes were yellow. Everything was yellow and black. So it just made perfect sense to call it Stryper. And once we became Stryper and chose that name, we soon after found the Bible scripture to tie that into the name. By his stripes we were healed, Isaiah 53:5. And that's it. I mean, it just, it went from there. And that's when we decided it would be really great because it was important for us to get the message out and the word out, the word being the Bible and Word of God. And we started, throwing Bibles out and doing that whole thing. So it was just one thing led to another.
Well, it seems like we've watched a lot of your live stuff, especially through the 80s. And, as you said, you guys kind of ditched the sex and the drugs part, but obviously the rock and roll part was still there. I mean, with the stage shows and the stuff that you guys had. Can you kind of describe, what those days were like for you guys?
Well, they were amazing. I mean, we were an arena band and platinum-selling, Grammy-nominated, selling-out arenas band. And we did that for a number of years, and it was incredible. I mean, it's such a rush to stand on the stage and be in front of 15,000 or 20,000 people, singing the words to every song and lighting their lighters on the ballads and just all that incredibly cool stuff. It was just amazing. We still experience that, of course, on a different level, but it's still just as amazing. I mean, we don't look back on those times and think, oh my gosh, we wish we could have those all over again. Yeah, it would be great, but we don't sit and wallow in our, our sadness, longing for those days. I mean, we're very happy and blessed and very pleased to be where we're at, to be able to still be making albums and touring and performing 30 years later is really pretty incredible. And we're very, very thankful for that.
You talked about the arena shows and being really huge in those days. I mean, really, you guys were probably one of the first Christian heavy metal bands to kind of go really mainstream, like MTV videos and everything. Do you recall anybody or facing any kind of backlash or anything from fans or other bands or anything because of that? Because of the Christian thing?
I don't mean to poke fun at your question, but yeah, that's actually kind of comical because we not only did we, but we still do. I mean, I think we're the poster children for backlash. We've always gotten it from both sides, and the beautiful thing about this band is we don't let it stop us or slow us down. We know what we're here to do. We're very focused. We're very determined people, very strong personalities, and pretty much nothing's going to get in our way. And that's just the way we think, and that's how we get through it. But yeah, I mean, we've gotten backlash from day one. We still get backlash, and we'll always get backlash because we're a band that's comprised of four Christian guys. So the minute you combine Christian with metal, you're a joke. In the world's eyes, Granted, when I say that, I'm not speaking for everyone because there's a lot of fans out there and a lot of people that get what we do. But for the most part, I mean, Christians are in movies portrayed as buffoons, in books portrayed as buffoons. I mean, Christianity is the laughing stock for the most part with many people in the world, and because we wave that flag and we tell the world, hey, this is what we're doing. It opens a door for a lot of flack. So we keep doing what we're doing, man.
So almost in a weird sort of way, you guys kind of are more rebellious than most of the kind of generalized rock band thoughts because you guys are getting all that controversy and stuff.
I heard somebody say not too long ago that Jesus was the ultimate rebel, and it's true. And yeah, we are rebels, I guess, and we are rebellious because we're not doing what everyone else is doing. And isn't that what a rebel is? I mean, they rebel against society and everything that everyone else is doing and the popular vote, and that's kind of what we're doing. And we didn't set out to do that. It's just we knew when we decided to devote the band to God, that it wasn't going to be an easy road.
Sure.
We knew that.
Well, then you left Stryper around the early 90s and went out on your own. And, you did a lot of writing and producing of your own stuff. And it seems like you were the main guy that did most of that for Stryper, too. So was it much different when you went out on your own, or how was that for you?
It wasn't. I mean, I'm one of those weird guys that kind of has this, I guess I'll call it a gift. I mean, God's really blessed me with this ability to write songs, and it's never, whether they're good or bad. I mean, that's for the public to decide. But I'm a guy that's always got a song in his head, and songs are just always flowing and always coming. And I'm getting ready to do a George Lynch album, myself, George Lynch, Brian Tichy, and James Lomenzo, and there's not one song written. And we start recording in 3.5 weeks. And most people would say, and I've actually said that, to a handful of my friends in the business, like, yeah, there's no songs, and they say to me, "What? Are you crazy?" We started working on songs 2 years ago for our album, and things like that. Maybe I am a little crazy. I don't know. But that's just the way I do things. That's how I like to do things. The Stryper album, No More Hell to Pay, I had over 50 ideas in my phone. I narrowed it down to 11 songs. The 12th was a cover, of course, but 11 songs. And I went down and I spent 2 weeks writing those songs in my studio, and then the guys came out and I taught them the songs. So it's I say this, of course, very humbly. I don't say this with a cocky attitude like, "Oh yeah, I'm great," but that's never been a problem, writing songs. I wrote all the songs for Stryper except for just a few. And then when I went out on my own, it wasn't a problem. And getting together with Stryper and writing more songs and more solo albums, it's never been an issue or a concern of mine. I obsess over it. I mean, I obsess over, is it good enough? But the amount of songs has never been a problem.
And one thing maybe a lot of people might not realize, but when you were out there on your own in the 90s and more recently as well, you actually played with the band Boston. I don't think a lot of people might know that.
I did, and I had never heard of them prior to that, and I'm, of course, being very sarcastic. I grew up, Boston was one of my favorite bands. When I was 13, I first heard that album. It just inspired the heck out of me like it did many people. And then to fast forward, to 2007, and being asked to be a part of what was supposed to be their last show, and then it went so well that they asked me to join the band. And I went out and toured with them in 2008. I did 55 cities with them, 55 dates as the co-lead singer and guitar player, one of the three guitar players. And it was a blast. I mean, it was incredible, and what an experience. I'm no longer with Boston. I chose to left on my own right, and the reason why is because I knew what was coming. I knew that the future held a lot. And, with the Stryper albums and our deal with Frontiers and the solo album and the book and just so many things on the horizon, I just thought to myself, what if I was to get that call to go on tour? And they did tour in 2012. And what if I had gotten the call saying, okay, we're going? I would have had to drop everything and put everything else on a shelf. And, to me, my priorities, which were Stryper and my solo stuff and, the band and the solo stuff that I started doing long before Boston, that was my priority. To me, I mean, no disrespect to Boston, but it really wasn't a big deal to leave Boston. It was like,
sure,
I didn't even have to think twice about it. It was just a quick, yeah, I'm gone. And I left. And I'm glad I did. I wish those guys well. They're obviously a legendary band that will never have any problems whatsoever, but I'm very happy with my decision, and I'm excited about the future. Stryper had its best year in 2013 since 1988. Just
wow.
Crazy.
That's awesome. And you mentioned it earlier, the new album, No More Hell to Pay?
Yes, No More Hell to Pay. That's the latest album. Came out November 5th. And, when you throw out these numbers, they don't sound very impressive comparatively to the numbers of the 80s and 90s. But, to double your album sales in today's world is miraculous, truly. We've been able to double the sales and just really build this in a time where most bands are really struggling to rebuild. And they're seeing numbers go down, down, down in terms of album sales, ticket sales, you name it. Stryper's been able to, thank God, and with God's help, we've been able to kind of build this from the ground up. And, I'm really excited about, we got a live album coming out at the latter part of this year, and then we're going to start on a new album. And I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I think it definitely says something about the longevity as well. Most bands don't make it out of a few years. You guys have been around for, more than 2 decades now. So.
Yeah, and you know what is really amazing, and it shows and says so much, is we were the band that if you had polled everyone probably would have voted against us and said, yeah, they'll last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And here we are, we're the band that's kind of stuck it out and been able to remain. Yeah, we went our separate ways for a period of time, but reformed and going longer and stronger now than before on the first run. We got the original lineup. Everybody's healthy, and we're still making hopefully relevant music. And man, it's a great day. It's a good time.
That's awesome. So you said you got a live album coming out, and then you're going to work on another album. Is there a tour? Anything else upcoming you want to let us know about?
Well, here's the order of events for this year. I start work in 3 weeks on a new album with George Lynch, Brian Tishy, James Lomenzo. That will be wrapped up and turned in by probably late April, early May. May 6th, I have an album, solo album, and a book, autobiography coming out. And I'm going to be, doing lots of interviews for that and talking about that and probably doing some signings and whatnot. Stryper starts touring heavily in May. We're going overseas. We're doing U.S. We're doing more overseas, more U.S. So we're going to probably tour pretty much nonstop through to about October. Then Stryper has a live album coming out at the end of the year, probably October, November, no later than December, but definitely this year it will come out, live at the Whiskey. Really cool album and DVD package, and the album will be available separately as well. And then after the new year in 2015, we're going to start on a new album, and that will come out in 2015 at some point.
Wow. Well, you definitely are a busy guy. We appreciate you squeezing us in for a bit here.
Hey, guys, thank you for squeezing me in, and we appreciate the love and support, and God bless you guys. Really, really do appreciate it.
Beautiful. Thanks a lot, Mike, for being on the show.
You guys are very welcome. Thank you for having me, and I will see you soon, hopefully, okay?
All right, sounds great. Thanks a lot.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.